What's good, Freight family? Welcome back to another video. If you're new to the channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when I upload and post on this channel. In this video, we're going to discuss how much you should be making as a beginner company driver. So if that sounds like something that may interest you, you may want to stick around until the end of the video to find out more. Without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. How much should you be making per week solely depends on a few things. So these few things include your miles. How many miles are you putting in per week? It also includes your carrier, which carrier you choose to work for or which company you are going to sign on with, right? And then it also includes your freight type you're choosing to haul, whether it's drive-in, whether it's hazmat, whether it's flatbed. What type of freight are you going to choose to haul? So I'm going to give you all some realistic ranges based on the current US market 2025 2026. So I've created a metrics for you all to basically get a visual of what you can expect. So in the first column, I have your experience, average weekly pay, and also your annual equivalent, right? So in the second column, let's say you have 6 months to a year of experience as a truck driver, right? This is going to be an annual weekly pay of $900 to $1,200 per week. And this is going to be estimated at an annual income of $47,000 to $62,000 annually, right? So let's say, for an example, you've been driving for 2 to 3 years on the road, whether it's, OTR, regional, local, or dedicated. This is going to put you at a weekly pay of $1,200 to $1,600 per week. And this is going to be estimated at $62,000 to around $83,000 per week, give or take. It just depends. Next, say you've been driving for 3 to 5 years. You've been, really out there driving, whether it's OTR, like I said, or regional. It's going to put you at a weekly pay of $1,500 to $2,000 per week. Now, this is going to be an annual income of $78K to $104K annually. So I just wanted to share that metrics with you, just so you all who are just now getting into the trucking industry have an idea of, what to expect annually and also what to expect weekly, because it solely depends on which carrier you go with, which company you sign on with, the freight you choose to haul, and also, how many miles you're putting in. When you first start, don't think you're going to be putting in a lot of miles. Depending on where you are in your trucking career can definitely be a factor in whether or not you're going to get a lot of miles or not, right? So if we move on to CPM, everybody knows what this is. It's cents per mile, right? Most company drivers are paid per mile, right? So you have your new drivers, you have experience, and then you have specialized freight. So most times new drivers are earning anywhere between 45 cents to 55 cents per mile. Now, if you have more experience, like I explained in the metrics, you're going to be earning, 55 cents to 70 cents per mile. Now, if you have like endorsements and you're hauling like specialized freight, you're going to have 65 cents to 80 cents per mile. Now, that's not that bad, but it solely depends on who you work for, how many miles you put in, and then of course the freight you choose to haul. So typical weekly miles, most company drivers average between 2,200 to 3,000 miles per week. Now, I haven't been really tracking my mileage as I should as a company driver, because most times you're just focused on driving, but you should track your miles so you can, really know where you are in that metric, so you can really, set a budget if you have to, or plan your spending, if that makes any sense. So if we do 2,500 miles, let's say you average 2,500 miles per week and you earn 60 cents per mile. Now, if we multiply those two numbers, that's going to give you $1,500 per week. $1,500 per week if you average 2,500 at 60 cents per mile, right? Now, typical regional drivers run 2,100 to 2,600 miles per week, and pay would be roughly around $1,500 to $1,400 per week. Gross take home after taxes and deduction is usually around $900 to $1,500 per week. So you also have to include, taxes, deductions, and everything like that before you get your check. That's why I gave you the number of $1,500 per week. Now, if we move on to higher paying company driver jobs, because there are a ton of jobs out there that you can apply for that will accept you with your experience, whether you have 6 months to a year or you have 3 years to 5 years of experience, right? So you can make anywhere between $1,800 to $2,500 per week if you have certain endorsements like your tanker, your hazmat, oversized loads, dedicated routes with big carriers. Just keep that in mind when you are job searching, because this will actually open, the portal of different opportunities that are out there. So I also wanted to explain to you guys, if you are a regional company driver making 55 cents per mile, your weekly pay depends on how many miles you run. Based on how many miles you run is going to determine how much money you get paid. So as a truck driver, you earn money based on how many miles you put in, right? So what your weekly pay should look like. So let's say you average 2,000 miles per week, right? You're going to have a gross pay of $1,100. Say you average 2,200 miles per week, you're going to have a gross pay of $1,210. And this is at 55 cents per mile, by the way. So you just take 55 cents times, let's say, 2,500, and it gives you the estimate of your gross pay. So 55 times 2,500 is going to be $1,375. Let's say you average 2,800 miles per week. That's going to give you $1,540. And let's say you have a little bit more of experience. You understand like your routes. You understand, the highways and everything like that. And you average 3,000 miles per week. This is going to give you $1,650 at 0.55 cent, right? So, you guys, I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, you want to do your research. You want to make sure that the company that you're signing on with has what you want, whether it's flatbed, whether it's, hazmat, reefer, refrigerated units, whatever it is you're trying to get into, communicate that with your company, communicate that with, your dispatch, and let them know like, hey, I want to do this or I want to do that, because this is going to help increase, your pay depending on where you are and depending on how much miles you run and depending on your experience, right? Because you want to have that experience. So with that being said, I hope you all actually enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment down below if you have any questions about cents per mile, your experience, weekly pay, new drivers, specialized freight. Let me know in the comments below. I'm new to the industry and I'm just now learning, different aspects. But as I'm learning, I'm researching, I'm reading about different things so that I am knowledgeable about, my career. So with that being said, thank you. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload and post, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks, Freight Family.